going on, culture? Great to be back with you. We're excited. New season. We took a little bit of a break. Life happens, but we wanted to do another, get the pod started, going back up. It's just the two of us this time. It's a new look, just me and Jake. But we're excited about this new season. We're excited to get going. Obviously, it's week one. It's a new season, and we play the Eagles week one away. Unfortunately, they won the Super Bowl. And there's been a lot of regime changes, a lot of changes going on our roster. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that we traded Micah Parsons, but we now have Kenny Clark, and we wanted to focus on the Cowboys. There's a lot of things going on in the offseason. We have a new coach. We got all that, new coordinators, and I believe that's a good thing. So what we wanted to do is just get right into football, get right into the matchup and tell you why we believe that we can win, and maybe the false narratives around the Eagles and why they're 8.5-point favorites to win this game. So we kind of wanted to start with the Cowboys defense versus the Eagles offense, and I guess I would just say, Jake, what would you say is like a key for the Cowboys beating or stopping this Eagles offense, if you could just name one off the top of your head?
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest thing I'm looking for here that I think could be key would be, can Dak and Schottenheimer and, offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, can they find a way to have some success versus this scheme with Vic Fangio? I think I've seen and I've heard that in the past this has been something that, Fangio, I guess, has kind of had Dak's number. He's kind of got the upper hand. So I think the big thing there is that chess match between them, and really, I think it's going to come down to. I mean, we might talk about it a little bit more later, but I think it's going to come down to those receivers. Personally, based off how our roster's built with Pickens and CD, that duo. But I think it's really, can Schottenheimer and Dak come up with a formula that can help them to overcome that challenging scheme from Fangio.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the Eagles defense and and the Cowboys offense, the narrative of this is one of the narratives that I wanted to talk about was I hear all the time, man, this Eagles defense is just an insane unit. It's just an unbelievable unit. They're stacked. The roster's stacked from top to bottom, and I was mind blown because I go through the roster and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't they lose their best pass rusher? Didn't they lose one of their best interior defensive linemen in Milton Williams, and he got a huge contract with the Patriots? Didn't they lose Darius Slay, and he signed a $10 million contract with the Steelers? Like that, he was probably their best corner, if you're being real. And they also lost their best safety, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And the craziest part is they did not replace any of those guys. And so whenever I'm looking at the matchup here between our offense and the Eagles defense, man, I mean, especially when it comes to the additions that we, the strength, our strength on offense is wide receiver, quarterback, and interior offensive linemen. I mean, man, we've really fortified and strengthened our biggest strength on wide receiver and interior offensive linemen. I mean, You've got the best wide receiver duo in the league, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. You get Tyler Booker, who's just a strong, rugged, nasty guy to go along with Peanut Butter BB, as some people like to call him. And then Tyler Smith, who's like just the best guard in the league. Again, don't care what anybody says. But and I think that's also going to open up the run game a little bit up the middle. But what I wanted to say about that is, you look at their corners. I mean, Adoree Jackson and their safeties, their DBs are nothing special. I would even say that they're bad. I mean, outside of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and if that's the case, I mean, if CD's lined up in the slot and Cooper DeJean goes there, if I'm Dak or if I'm the coordinator, I'm still throwing it to CeeDee Lamb. If he's lined up one-on-one with Cooper DeJean, give me CeeDee Lamb. Yep. If he's lined up one-on-one with Quinyon Mitchell, heck, even if Reed Blankenship is over on that side trying to double team or whoever, Sidney Brown, I'm throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb, and same for George Pickens. I'm not worried about any of those corners, and I would even say that they're a bit lackluster too. Um, and then
Yeah.
Zach Bond on their linebacker, like call it a flash in the pan. I need to see a little bit more. The guy was bad, and then he has a good year, and now we're saying he's just like he's just like the ultimate linebacker. We'll see it. I don't think their defense can hold up. I think their pass rushers are a bunch of rotational guys at best. I mean,
Yeah.
6 sacks from Nolan Smith, and he's not even the primary sack guy. Yeah, I mean he's gonna get clamped up. But the dude's he's slow off the ball, all that stuff. Like just yeah, give me the Cowboys offense to just dominate their defense. I think that Jalen Carter's overhyped. I mean, you're supposed to be a dominant guy. You got 4 sacks in the regular season, so I mean, I think our interior offensive line matches up well with their interior defensive line, and I think that's their strength of the
Mhm.
defense. And their safeties are just, I mean, just trash.
Yeah.
Um, but to flip the script a little bit, uh, um, I want to talk about the Cowboys defense as it compares to the Eagles offense. Now we know that that is a solid unit, barring the quarterback and the interior offensive linemen, in my opinion. What would you say are the keys to um, stopping the the offense? You know, the Philly offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, I mean, everybody says it, but it starts with keeping the run game under control. If they can, I mean, Saquon is the biggest threat. He's their biggest weapon. He's the reason why they went to the Super Bowl. He's the reason why they won the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Or I mean, it's pretty not even my opinion. It's pretty much a fact. So I think it's going to come down to we have a new scheme, we got a new system with Eberflus now, and we've really changed around a lot of our personnel on the defense. I mean, there's been a lot of turnover this year. Eberflus has brought in a lot of his guys. Obviously, we know that we made the trade, so we got an extra guy in the middle. It seems like that there's been an emphasis on getting some interior defensive linemen, not really like um, the huge 350-pound dudes that just stand there and take up all these blocks, but kind of guys like the Osas, Perrion Winfrey, Kenny Clark, guys that are kind of slightly undersized from a traditional, not your traditional Vita Vea type guys, but guys that can move well and they can get after the quarterback a little bit, but also play the run in a sense because they have their agility, right? So it seems like if he's got a game plan in that regard to use those types of guys, and as well as I think we have a drastically improved linebacker group that literally nobody talks about in the media. I mean, we've got we haven't seen this linebacker group at all yet, all together. So it's like the narrative that we can't stop the run. I mean, this is going to be a time where I really think we're going to surprise some people with Eberflus's scheme, these new pieces that we've put in the linebacker group and the interior now. I think we're a lot more equipped to deal with that. But the key will be is can we take advantage, like what you were mentioning, of their interior? They've had some shifting there. They've got Dickerson that's still dealing with some injuries. Obviously, Jurgens is a newer guy. I think Steen is the guy they have at the other guard position. That
Right
is,
guard, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of. I think this is his first year to kind of be the starter, right, the main guy. So that's the group. Their tackles are solid. I mean, they Johnson and Mailata, they have some good tackles. I don't think even with Micah, I don't think we were going to win this game by trying to get around the edge.
Yeah.
I think we were going to win this game by trying to win in the middle, trying to get either stop them from running up the gut, force them to be, have a harder time to do that, have to beat you through the air, or just having Jalen Hurts have to throw the ball and read the defense. I think that's the key there. So if we can keep both Saquon from running, just devastating us on the ground, um, between the tackles, as well as keeping Jalen Hurts from getting past the line of scrimmage and trying to run on us. I think if we can do that, I like our matchup. Everybody was trashing our corner group, but I think now that Diggs is healthy and he's going to be playing. I mean, man, to have Diggs, Bland, Elam, I mean that's a solid trio there. I think we're better equipped now than really we've been in a while to deal with that kind of a receiving duo, especially considering the reports are that both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are kind of dealing with some nagging injuries. So I think if we can just simply keep them from running all over the field and dominating time of possession and all that between Hurts and Saquon, I think we really have a good shot of covering those receivers
Yeah.
with our corner group.
Yeah. And, I would say, you know, uh, again, one of those things like I was talking about with the defense. When I hear all these things about like, oh, their defense is just like it's stacked unit. I'm like, well, let me take another look. Obviously, like Jacob said, like I mean, their tackles are good. The tackles are great. They've got great tackles. But when it comes to their interior offensive line, I'm like, okay, you're telling me Landon Dickerson is great. I mean, like, is it the unit? Like, is it him individually? I think it's more of a unit thing. And with the tackles, and he's banged up, and he's the better guy of that trio. It's not like the Cowboys where we have three solid two first round picks, a Pro Bowl player, and then a third round pick who played extremely well last year. You've got a guy could have not played, in Tyler Steen, I believe it's either Tyler or Trevor, but one of the he's not good. He's not a good player. And then Cam Jurgens, I mean, you look at their offensive line 2 years ago to now. I mean, you've downgraded twice. I mean, you downgraded Jason Kelsey, then you had downgraded from him to Cam Jurgens, and then you had Mekhi Becton last year, and you downgrade to Tyler Steen. And so I don't see how you can look at that and say, "Oh yeah, against somebody like, I'm not saying that we're better, as a pass rushing unit, or it's better that we lost Micah. Obviously, it hurts when you lose somebody like Micah because he's a world beater at tackle. But like Jacob said, I think that where our strengths now match up with Kenny Clark, because Kenny Clark's a Pro Bowl defensive tackle, he's a top defensive tackle in this game, is now with him and Osa, and I think Perrion Winfrey's out, but
Mm-hmm.
I think with Osa and Kenny Clark, and if Mozzie plays, I mean Mozzie's played really good against the Eagles in the past and against NFC East opponents. So I mean I think if the script is flipped and it's our linebackers and our defensive tackles that can play against that maybe shaky and inexperienced and some players that really aren't that good at interior offensive linemen on the Eagles, I think we can really stop the run there, at least up the middle, and eventually get Hurts to try and play hero ball. And I think we win that favorable matchup because the opposite is true about our corners and our safeties than the Eagles. We have first round pick Kyrie Elam. We have Deron Bland, who just signed his incredible contract, all pro, record setting pick six guy. Diggs is back, and I think Diggs has always played well against the Eagles. I mean, in my opinion, and like I think that if our defense can hold up, I think that they'll get boat raced by our offense just because I don't think their defense is that good. So, I mean, I you know I kind of wanted to just I'm always the optimistic Cowboys fan guy who's like, oh, the Cowboys are going to win every game, but I also you can't just tell me that, oh, this team's better than the Cowboys by 8.5 points. Oh, they beat them so bad last year. It's like, first of all, we didn't have Dak, and that's a big thing for me. It's like I think Dak automatically makes this a favorable matchup for us because Dak just owns the NFC East. He was hurt last year, and even then, we still beat a team like the Commanders without Dak. So now that Dak's back, and you get him an extra weapon, and then our defense potentially is flipped around so that maybe we're more of a balanced unit rather than just like pass rush slash um, get picks and turn the ball over, which turn the ball over is good. But if a team can say, okay, you've got an insane pass rusher,
Yeah.
well, let's just run the ball. Well, no, we now we've got some linebackers, some that can help stop the run, and an interior defensive tackle that's top of the league at his position that
Mm-hmm.
can stop the run. And he had a down year because he was injured last year, but he's good now. And I think if we can stop the run, I think Dak owns the Eagles enough um, to really put the pressure on them and really, especially with Pickens now, because man, I think those wide receivers and Ferg and Turpin and Lipke, I think those guys are just a bad matchup for. And I think that if Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders or Blue get rushing yards or catches out of the backfield or whatever, I think that's just going to be a plus on top of Dak just lighting up that secondary. Because I mean, let's be real. I mean, the Eagles' pass rush on the edge is just not. I don't care what our tackles look like. Their pass rush is just not that great, and so I would say, I mean, I don't, I don't want to go crazy and say we're going to put 40 on the Eagles, but I mean, I don't see it as a non-possibility with Dak in our receiving core. But I'll say the Cowboys win 31-24 because that and I'm hoping that our defense can hold up against Saquon, and I think if they hold up against Saquon, it will win pretty decisively.
I mean, that's bold. I mean,
It's a bold
considering we're the
statement.
8.5 point underdog, but I don't. I mean, I
Hey,
think it's going to be a
I saw
tougher game.
something. It happened when they won the Super Bowl back in I think 2018. Um, we played them and they were 7.5 point favored and we beat them.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's doable. I think it's going to be challenging, for sure. I still think this is a good team. Particularly, I think their offense. I mean, the way I think about it is, I think their offense is going to be able to get you eventually. They're gonna get their points.
Yeah,
They're gonna make their plays because they just have so many weapons, which is why I think it's gonna come down to the only way we win this is we got to play this game on our terms.
yeah,
We got to take the first. We got to put the points on the board. We got to be. We have to try to turn this, I believe, into a you know an air a match in the air between Dak and Hurts. I think that's the favorable matchup for us. I'd take Dak in that situation. If we can get to a point where we're throwing the ball over the field, scoring points fast, put them in a position where they have to catch up and they can't rely on the run and running their running their scheme, taking the time off the clock. If we put them in a position where they can't do that and they got to play left-handed, I think that's the path for us because man, no matter what, I think that run game, if we let them play to their strengths and dictate the game, especially at home in that environment, it's going to be tough. And so I think we're going to have to score. We're going to have to score fast. Dak's going to have to take this game over, win the matchups with CD and Pickens one on one, run on the edges where they're weaker. If we can do that and take the first shot, get ahead, I think we have a chance at getting this one. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, man, we're finally going to be able to see all this new scheme, all these new players that we've added. We had so much turnover on the roster. So man, I'm just excited to see it all come together
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. I mean, I would say, man, it's been such a long wait. It's crazy. I would say I'm most excited to just see like
Yeah. Yep.
Booker versus their interior D line and like Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe. I mean, Cooper Beebe handles freaking Dexter Lawrence. I mean, Tyler Smith handles freaking Jalen Carter. So, I mean, Beebe and I'm not worried about Beebe and I'm not worried about Booker either. I think that Beebe and Booker and Tyler Smith will absolutely handle. The only person you got to worry about on their D line is Jalen Carter. So, I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch, and I think that I'm super excited about that. And I think that we'll get some rugged stuff from our run game, especially with like Javante Williams, and then I hope that they give at least Blue an opportunity to show what he can do speed wise and get our run game going. Because I mean, like you said, I mean our offense is going to run through Dak and Pickens, CD, and Ferg, and all that kind of stuff. But I was encouraged. I will say the last couple of things that I'll say is I was encouraged by what I saw in preseason or not preseason in training camp with just the and interestingly enough, they just signed Lipke today, I think, to a new contract.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see what dynamics that Lipke brings because they used him in some weird ways that they were talking about in training camp. And Turpin, I'm interested to see how creative our offense can be,
Yeah.
especially with the unknown of Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams, who was a coveted offensive coordinator guy, and then you bring in a Connor Riley for offensive line coach, and like I just feel like this team got better just because of coaching changes, and then
Yeah.
you add Booker to replace Zach Martin. I just think that our defense is I mean our offense is kind of slept on,
Yeah.
and I think our defense as a whole is not better but more balanced. I would say with Clark and our
Yeah.
new obviously our new
More
linebackers
well-rounded. I mean,
with
yeah,
still good corners.
we might be. I mean, maybe overall worse. Obviously, losing your best
Yeah,
player like Micah, but at the end of the day, like you said, more well-rounded. So whether we're not as one-dimensional on defense, we can be just a little bit more level there. Not have major liabilities in the interior. And now, like you said, I mean, better at receiver. Healthy Ferguson, obviously better at quarterback. Got Dak back. Um, I would argue probably we could say better at OC now with Clayton
Yeah,
Adams. I think that he's a guy that's had some success in his roles in different offenses. So hopefully
offensive
that can be an
line, run
improvement there.
game, stuff like
I
that.
think our run game now is we. I think we have some more guys, a couple guys that can do a few different things. Blue and Williams now. Then I think that's an upgrade of where we were last year. So, I mean, and then obviously, man, we got some powerful dudes there in the middle. I think you get Guyton in year two. I think across the board on offense we've improved, and not only that, like you said, it seems this year that we're finally going to see some of the creative ways we can use Lipke with this new contract. Some of the creative ways we can use um, Turpin in the offense, not just as a returner or in just like one or two different,
Like a jet
trick
sweep or
plays
something
or
like that.
whatever, but
Yeah.
no, like using him and his speed and his unique skill set. It seems like with the signing of him and the signing of Lipke that maybe we're going to be, seeing some of these things that we've been hoping to see the past couple seasons since we've had them. So I'm just excited to see it all come together and man, see if they can, like I said, that the key I believe is, can Dak and Schottenheimer overcome that scheme?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup, and yeah, I mean that's really all we had. I mean, we just kind of wanted to come in and we let the preseason and all that training camp stuff get away from us. But man, I stayed up to it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to fire back up the pod because there's so much things I want to say, and obviously the game day is tomorrow, so I gotta get this edited and up on YouTube and everything. But yeah, I mean, hey, stay tuned. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff here on Cowboys Culture Podcast. We appreciate all the support that we've had in the past. People have come up to me and asked me when we're going to fire this thing back up again. And so here it is. And man, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you liked it. If you're an Eagles fan, which by the way I know a lot of you guys are here, and Niners fans, oddly, Eagles fans love hearing what Cowboys fans have going on when they just won the Super Bowl, so they have other things to worry about. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. I definitely think we're going to win, and I think it's going to be an upset. So let me know what you think about our video down in the comments. But yeah, subscribe, and if you want to see more of the culture, yeah, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and tune in. We'll see y'all later.